Right, so not the usual way that I start a video. I just want to come on quickly and just say thank you for all your support throughout the year. The channel's growing and growing and the community gets bigger and bigger. I just want to wish you all a happy Christmas. I hope you had a great time. I hope you spent it with your loved ones. I hope you've drank too much and ate too much. And I wish you all a happy, healthy 2024. So the reason for this video is I've got quite a bit of content on my computer that I don't put out, whether for some reason or the other, it just doesn't seem to make the cut. And whether the story wasn't big enough or I just weren't feeling it, so I've not released them. So I just thought, what better way to sort of see the end of the year off and just compile a bit of a light-hearted double video really of some of the locations that we've been to, because we have spent time going to filming and it'd just be a waste of footage, and I'm sure some of you will find it interesting. So like I say, it's light-hearted. There is a little brew break. We used to always do a brew break, me and my dad, and we haven't done one for a while, so it was nice to actually sit in this sort of tranquil place and have a sandwich and a cup of coffee. And it's just a bit of a laugh. It breaks the video up and it's a bit of a behind the scenes kind of thing. So I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to let you watch the video and comment down below. I'd like to know your thoughts on the locations that we visited and the stories involved.
The force of nature is something to behold. It blankets and reclaims the objects that we so carelessly discard, and in some ways it makes them more beautiful, protecting the relics of our ancient past, almost as if to say, well, if you don't want it, then we will, leaving us with nothing but the memories and the ghostly echoes of the past. And in today's story, that's exactly what's happened. This ancient chapel dates back to the Doomsday Books, and for around 1,000 years, this one little spot has been a place of worship for God, religion, a symbol and a pillar of strength for people, generation after generation. In around the 1500s, the original chapel was demolished, but it was swiftly rebuilt in the style that you see today. It's believed that Hugh Willoughby, Sergeant at Arms to Henry VIII, had the chapel erected in memory of his beloved wife. It even had its own natural spring, forcing the locals of the area to that little spot, even if it was just to quench the thirst. But as the years rolled on, the chapel was used less and less frequently. This was due to the evolution of the local village, who eventually decided to make their own brand new church right in the heart of the village. It was more accessible for the locals to commute to, leaving this picturesque little chapel standing alone and forgotten. And like most things that get left, the chapel slowly started to deteriorate. Over time, the original ancient oak beams were taken along with the romantic clang of its two prized church bells that once jangled in the wind and hung so proudly in the far end of the building's gallery. And as of 1857, the doors to the chapel closed for good. Nothing but the residual energy from its past residents and vicars remained, and it stood lifeless for 166 years. The echoes and hymns that once reverberated around the crumbling walls and brickwork, almost locked in, like a time capsule. A time capsule waiting to be unearthed.
So as you can see, we're nestled away in the countryside here, surrounded by all these beautiful trees in the woodland. But there's something quite magical through this little gate here. And let's go and have a look, eh? Because this is the beautiful chapel that's hidden in the woods. How stunning's that? It's almost like time forgot. And it's been protected and consumed by all the beauty that surrounds it. It's absolutely stunning. And I've been trying to find this place for absolute weeks because it's so remote. And I'm just over the moon that I found it. My dad's just been telling me that this would have been like a lich gate. And because we saw on the video, on an old photograph, it's like a bit of an apex roof that was here at one point. But just look at the age of these old seats here on the inside. Even this here, look at that. There'd have been like a little gate here or something, wouldn't there? But look at this. Totally consumed by the elements. Beautiful. Look at the age of this gate. Come on, let's go in. Wow, look at this. Look at this place. Wow. This is absolutely beautiful. God, I'm in awe. It's almost like a tranquil grotto now, because the elements are protecting it the best they can. And this is the old bell tower. So there would have been 2 bells in there. And rumour has it from the residents is that when this place was obviously in about 1850s, this was neglected. 1857 it was neglected, and those bells would chime in the night whenever there was like a storm or something. How eerie would that sound in the middle at night? Redundant chapel with the bells clanging away. But this place has got such a different atmosphere to anything. It's ancient. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Wow. Just look at the age of these walls here. The brickwork, the hardship and effort that's gone into erecting a place like this. It's unbelievable. I can almost see in my mind's eye how it would have looked, you know. People coming in through here, sitting down, taking a seat, listening to the hymns of the vicar and his preaching work, you know, preaching and stuff. And, you know, a few hundred years on, it's just an echo of the past. It's an old carcass of what it used to be. But it's so pretty at the same time, even though it's like neglected and abandoned. And I just looked on the floor there. Someone's left like a worthy sweet and 5p. So that's quite nice of him. But imagine this bit here would have either possibly been an old window, or it would have just been a ledge with like possibly like a candle or a bit of holy water, because I think, going off the layout, I'm possibly in a bit of this could have been an old room where the priest or the vicar would have probably got his bits together and that. But unbelievable. Look at this. Look at these. Wow. Dating back to the 1500s. Should we go up top? Let's go and have a look up here. Get a bit of a bird's eye view looking down, eh? Look at the like old mason marks here. Wow. Oh yeah, get a better view here from the bell tower. Look at that. Yes, look at that. Unbelievable. There's something very enchanting about it. I don't know if it's the state of neglect or, you know, the memories that you can feel, because you can, oh my God, check this out. Look at that for a view. We're actually looking, a bit of a bird's eye view into the belly of the chapel. Wow. This is so cool. This is unlike anything that I've experienced before, because it's on an ancient scale rather than just a historic scale. You know, dating back to the 1500s, and even before that it was in the Doomsday Book. So, you know, this as for almost 1,000 years, or possibly over 1,000 years, has been a place of worship. And obviously the old chapel was then knocked down, and this was rebuilt in the 1500s, and this has lay abandoned since 1857. So that's 160 odd years nearly, if my maths is right, that it's been in this state. How can you let something so ancient and so pivotal, and you know, it's a testament to the past, how can it be left to neglect like this? It's an ancient relic from the past, an ancient relic, and it's beautiful. And I've just clocked this here, look at this. Wow, I think that says JMG 1823. So I'll try and find out what that means. I mean, that could have been one of the reverends, it could have been a vicar, it could have been the guy that built it. But 1823, so 30 odd years later, this place fell into disrepair and neglect. But just look at the beauty around it. Look at the trees and the beauty. This would have been a beauty spot back in the day, and nestled away in this tranquil little spot lay this lonesome, forgotten chapel that time forgot. So we've just stopped for 2 minutes. Not done a video with my dad for a while, and as you know, we like to have a little snack or a brew normally.
Yeah, and he has to bring it.
But my dad has to bring...
You bring it on?
Nothing. But he's brought us some sandwiches today, and he's been giving me a bit of grief in work, because he always has to bring the sandwiches and he always has to make them, but they're better than mine. Absolutely starving.
Look at that. Yeah, have that.
Look at that. Hey?
First of all, cheese and onion or salt and vinegar?
Cheese and onion.
You'd say that.
Right, you can have them if you want.
No, it's alright, right. I'll just have them ones.
This isn't Morrison's finest, is it?
No.
This is Aldi's finest.
That's... I don't...
The old snack right.
So yeah, feast your eyes on
thank
that.
you. We'll
£2.50 please.
see what we got on it. Look at that. We've got onion, cheese.
Guess the cheese.
Red Leicester.
Yeah, spot on.
And we've got a relish.
I never forgot you when you... What do you call it? When you made spag bol and you didn't fetch me in there.
Hey, look what I've got.
What's that? What's that?
Oh.
What's in that?
You gotta come prepared these days. We've moved on from Jaffa cakes and a brew.
What's that? Chicken?
Bolognese.
Bolognese?
Bolognese.
Is mine in the bag?
No, you can have some though if you want.
What's going straight in?
Oh.
That's like the Jaffa cake.
Oh no.
What?
What am I gonna eat it with? Have you got a fork? What's that? What is it?
Yeah. Fucking mouth big enough. I was up at the crack of dawn making these this morning. While you were snoring, your thumb in your mouth.
Moment of truth now. Can I get first dibs?
Yeah. I'm always disappointed me with glass. What? It's never as hot as they say it is.
How many sugars? God, it's dark that.
I know. Mind you, that's hot, isn't it?
What's that?
Have a guess.
Kenko.
No.
Nescafe.
No. It is Aldi's Sharon left it, decaf.
So you've gone from Morrison's Finest to Aldi's?
No, no, I've not converted, not yet. No, I've always been loyal to Morrison's, me.
But it's cost of living's gone up on it, so hard times.
It is. They're not bad though. Are yours? You not ate them?
Yeah, too.
No, you haven't. You threw them again, haven't you?
Walloped it.
Right, I'll let you. Remember that time when I made that thing and you could...
Full bag of crisp on the floor.
Remember that time I made that lovely biscuit and you threw it? And I found it was at the back of you, threw it over your shoulder. Remember?
Yeah.
And we got Moors. I love the Monster Munch.
I'm not a fan of chocolate cookies and that, mate.
I know, but when you've been like climbing, it's good. I have got, you know what I forgot?
My taste is still off.
Is it?
Nice, that cookie.
Was it? So, do you want another one?
No, I'm alright.
There's loads in there.
No, I'm alright, thanks.
Get that quick.
I know. Here, do you want?
Oh, yeah. Fibby wins.
Why not make the most of it on a day like today?
How do you eat that quick? You've thrown it, haven't you? I bet you have. Bet you have.
It's the size of my mouth.
Yeah, I've still got mine.
I only had a quarter.
You grounded.
I bet I'm grounded.
I will, yeah. It's there. How much they cost?
Was this my box?
Cheese again.
Same again? You not mix it up a bit?
No. I did put Kit Kat in, but we ate it before.
Do you want me to tell you what's missing?
What? It's alright.
Bit of brown sauce.
It's alright.
Brown sauce. Cooking tips from Steve.
Well, you know the answer to that then, don't
Warm
you?
this. Where's it been?
Next to the flask. You know the answer to that then, don't you?
What? Make it up.
Make your... I'm not going to swear. Make your own. Come all this way. Been up since the crack of dawn.
And drop your crisps.
Drop me. I can't believe I just dropped them.
You were nice, Em, as well. Your bag's gonna drop. Starving me.
Have that one if you want. I'm alright.
I'm alright.
Got Chinese when I get home.
Have you got is that spring onion on this?
Yeah. That's Morrison's Finest Red Leicester. And Barnes.
I'm gonna be critical here. Yeah. Needs brown sauce, but you put too much pepper on it.
I like pepper on it though.
You need to step your game up with these.
Right, it's alright. Next time we will get jam. I like me. On crumpets and that. Peanut butter and jam.
Oh.
Or peanut butter and jam and toast. You never had it.
Peanut butter's horrible.
Yeah, but the jam accompanies it.
No.
It's like sweet and
You're not American.
sweeter.
You're not American.
I know, but I like. You can see why the Americans like it because it's nice.
Peanut butter and jam on a crumpet.
Yeah. Or honey.
Oh,
Sharon
what's
has
wrong with
honey on hers.
you? Got a sweet tooth.
She has honey on a crumpet.
Oh no. Crumpet can only have butter on it. Or a bit of cheese. You need to put a bit more milk in this as well. Look at that. Like ink.
I like it strong. I'm not catering for, what do you call it, Daft Monkey's YouTube lot, you know. Catering for myself. It's lovely that. Nice and warm.
Gives me an headache, this.
It's decaf.
Should have seen him in the car as well. Road rage. Like being in car with Ronnie Pickering.
Ronnie Pickering! Oh! Ronnie Pickering! Oh! Ronnie Pickering!
8 cyclists.
Oh, I tell you what. I've got a bike myself, but I go off-road and I can understand why, because I'd be frustrated going past me if I was on the road, because they annoy me. I think they go two abreast on road on a country road. What's the point of that? If they want to talk, why don't they like do? Say I'll talk to you when I get at the end.
Don't take it personal.
I know, but they're annoying. I think they're on their own. They don't even pay road tax.
There'll be cyclists here watching this, thinking, "Shut your mouth, you."
They'll stay in single file then. They don't pay road tax.
Horrible that.
You didn't like it?
No. Don't drop it.
Next time I'll bring them a Ken call me proper stuff.
Well. Not that,
I know.
isn't it?
I was just having a pop and all. That thermos flask aren't hot and that's quite hot still, isn't it? Mind you.
What time did you make that?
About 10:15. Mind you, I nuked it in the microwave for a bit afterwards
What?
to make it hotter.
The coffee?
Yeah. So I made it, put it in, then nuked it and then put it back in the
That's
flask.
why it tastes like crap.
It tastes nice.
Give me an headache, that. Got any paracetamol?
I have actually. How many do you want?
Full pack.
So how nice was that? This redundant chapel, you know, dating back before the Doomsday books. What a place. It felt like you was on a stage set of like Lord of the Rings or something. I purposely didn't give this location out. You can go and find it if you go and look for yourself, but I didn't want people to just go and, you know, if I was to name the place, I just didn't want it to sort of, you know, maybe get damaged in some way or someone graffiti it or something off the back of off the back of this video. So purposely haven't give the name of the location away, but obviously you're free to look and you probably will find it. You know, rolling back the years to the early videos when we did a brew break, me and my dad, we used to always do a brew break, but we hadn't done one for a while. So it was nice to actually sit and stand and have my dinner in such a beautiful grotto, tranquil oasis that is the chapel. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. Now for part 2.
So as you can tell by the background, I'm definitely not in Manchester and I'm not in Salford either. I'm actually in Blackburn Old Cemetery. Now what I like to do from time to time is revive these stories that are a little bit further afield, and ultimately it gives people on the channel a bit of variety. Now, when I read about this lad, his story blew me away, and it's a very special video because it's based on a really special person. So sit back, get your popcorn out, because this is the story of the English giant.
Frederick Kempster was born in 1889 in London, the little baby boy of Joseph and Jane Kempster. Described as a normal, happy, jolly baby. He was the second youngest of 4 sons and 3 girls, but little did they know just how astonishing he would become, because the apple of their eye would one day grow to be a 7'9" giant. He'd one day join the circus and be the star attraction. And during the war, he'd be placed under house arrest in Germany, and he was popular with all the German officers. And as the years rolled on, he'd later be buried in a 10-foot grave in Blackburn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of the extraordinary life of Frederick Kempster, the English giant. The story of young Frederick Kempster begins in Bayswater in London, and his upbringing is that of a normal one. His father Joseph was a milk carrier for the Aylesbury Dairy Company, and he worked all the hours God could send to help support his family. But sadly, on Christmas Day, in 1897, Frederick's dad Joseph died of bronchitis, aged just 50 years old, leaving his mother Jane to bring in the wage to support her large family all on her own. She had numerous jobs, from housework to laundry work, and doing whatever she could to keep them afloat. She was left with no option than to move to Islington in a one single room apartment, as the rent was cheaper and sacrifices had to be made. But sadly, she fell behind on the rent, and she didn't earn enough money to juggle the bills and feed her children, and she was eventually evicted from the property. And out of desperation, with nobody to turn to, she sought help from the Bernardo's charity and placed her two youngest sons into care, young George and Frederick, who by this time had shown no signs of giantism, standing only 4 foot tall at the age of 9. After a year of being in care and moving from care home to care home, Frederick, now 10 years old, sailed to Canada on the SS Scotsman, spending a total of 11 days at sea, and he eventually arrived at St. John's, where he'd work on a farm, earning his keep for the family who had taken him in. Having been working on the farm for 5 years, Frederick was deemed unfit to work, and he was struggling to carry out his daily duties. He'd now started to show signs of growth, causing his joints to really feel the pain of life on the farm. He was now starting to grow into a giant, and given his condition, he returned back to the UK, now 15 years old. He settled and started working at Bernardo's Youth Labour House in East London. And during his time, he had to go under the knife and have operations to help with his rapid growth and giantism. As a result of one of his operations, he sadly developed a lame left leg, of which he had to wear a raised sole inside his shoe to help him walk correctly. Fast forward 6 years later, and Bernardo's write a letter to Frederick's mother Jane, explaining that he's living at the Boys' Garden City in Essex, and her now 21-year-old son stood a whopping 7 foot tall. The curiosity of seeing something unique has always intrigued the human brain. There seems to be a pull towards the unusual things in life, and it's hard not to be astounded by something out of the ordinary. The Victorian circus performers always intrigued me as a kid. The exaggerated illustrations posted on the billboards gave stature to giants, unbelievable strength to strongmen, and even plausibility to mermaids. People from all classes would flock to gasp and gawp at the unusual examples of human life. And sadly, many of these acts would be classed as freak shows, a name given to them by the uncouth, the shallow, and narrow-minded people back in the day. Some acts relied heavily on the shock factor, and performers were not revealed in the flesh to the audience until money had changed hands, tantalising the crowd, whipping them into a frenzy of excitement and anticipation. Publicity was crucial, as the people described in these adverts often bore little resemblance to what lay behind the curtain or the turnstile. But what intrigues me the most is the life that they led behind closed doors. Once the popcorn and the candy floss had stopped being served, the lights went down, and the clowns removed the makeup, revealing the true identity and what really went on behind the mask. Many performers hid behind the persona, but as for Frederick, he embraced it. He joined the circus and was the star attraction. He loved the attention he was getting, and finally, after all these years, he found his true path in life. He hit the headlines and won over the crowds due to his huge physique. During the war, he was under house arrest in Germany. The papers printed articles claiming that Frederick was being mistreated, but this was far from the truth. The Germans took a shine to him, put him at ease, and looked after him. And the German soldiers would take the children to see him, which gave him much joy. After a month under house arrest, he was sent back to England. He was larger than life and happy. Many quirks to his character have been reported. One being because he was that tall, he could light his cigarette on the flame of the street lamps. He continued to tour with the circus until sadly, in 1917, he contracted influenza and Kempster died in 1918 at the age of just 29 years old at Queen's Park Hospital in Blackburn. At the time of his death, he was reported to be standing a whopping 7 foot 9.3 inches, and he was buried in a 10-foot coffin in Blackburn Old Cemetery. His gravestone calls him the British Giant, although he was known as the Blackburn Giant and the English Giant, as well as many more. A unique man in a unique grave, and his memory still lives on.
So as you can see, we have all these sort of normal looking graves, and if I just pan you around here, look at that. Now that is a 10-foot grave, and it's dedicated to Frederick John Kempster. And sorry if I sound out of breath, I've literally just walked it up a really steep sort of hill bit there to get to this. But look at the actual size of that. Now, this really doesn't do it any justice. It really doesn't. But it's immaculately kept, and he died in 1918, so it's well over 100-year-old, and look how well it's kept. But that is one massive grave. And if we just have a look over here, it says in affectionate remembrance of Frederick John Kempster, the British Giant, died April 15th, 1918, aged 29, gone but not forgotten. Now, like I say, if you're ever in the area, you're in Blackburn, or you want to just come somewhere that's a little bit out the norm, then this definitely ticks the boxes. But what a life he led. Absolutely fascinating life, and he died at such a young age. He probably had so much to offer as well. And sadly he died. But I think this is a brilliant touch, I really do. And it's just a shame that all the other graves around here look quite dilapidated. And then you've got Frederick's, who's absolutely pristine and immaculate. But I'm so glad I've come to film this, because it's somewhat out of the norm, innit? It's really unusual. And this grave, this whole section here, is 10 foot. Now this is a 10-foot grave, and I believe that his coffin was 9 foot something. And they unearthed literally a few ton of soil to actually get him into the ground. But this is the resting place of the British giant, or the Blackburn giant, however you want to call him. He was a giant man and he had a giant heart, and this is where he rests today in Blackburn. So there you have it. That was 2 stories that I didn't quite get round to finishing off, and like I put it to the poll on Facebook and on YouTube, and people seem to think it's a good idea. And to be honest, it was a waste of footage. You know, these places are brilliant to actually go and have a look at and explore. From having a bit of a laugh with my dad, and he winds me up and I wind him up, but it makes, you know, people find it funny and I find it funny too. And the chapel's absolutely beautiful. So it was great to go and explore there. And then we moved on to Frederick Kempster, you know, a giant of a man with an even bigger heart, such a lovable character, and he was taken far too soon. And the grave in the actual Blackburn Old Cemetery, it doesn't do it any justice. It's bigger in real life. So it was great to go and film and revive his story. So like I said, this video isn't like my normal content. So if you're watching for the first time, head over to the channel, have a look through. I cover every sort of topic you can think of, from true crime to nostalgia to hidden stories and just stories of the past that have been forgotten. So I wish you all a happy 2024. I wish you good luck and happiness in your lives. And I've got so much planned for next year, which will include a trip to Whitechapel in London to revive the story of Jack the Ripper. And it's one that I've been meaning to go and do for years. It's a story that is absolutely fascinating and it's gripped me, and hopefully teaming up with someone down there too. So good luck and happiness in your lives, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.